Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I'm here to set up my May budget. So here I have my Erin Condren Focused Monthly Planner. This is the planner that I do all of my budgeting in. So I added my monthly spread here along with the tab. I do track all of my expenses, and here's kind of a overview of how I did it in August, oh my goodness, in April. So I color coordinate all my variable expenses and I track it all here. That way I can see like when we're spending certain things. And it makes the weekly check-ins really easy. So that page is done. So I'm going to flip through and get to the pages that I'd like to do my budget and my weekly check-in. So I pulled my budget stickers. These are obviously from my shop. I have 2 of the thick and thin washies. I have a transaction log, a sinking fund tracker. I have my budget, my weekly check-in, and then my business budget. My business budget gets done off camera most of the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start laying down some of the shell for my budget, and then we can get into it. I cannot believe it's already May. Jason is gonna turn 33 this month, which is honestly crazy. I think I met him when he just turned 18. So it's been a long time, a long time, but I mean, that's just how it goes, right? Like, we have a 6.5-year-old, which is just honestly insane to think about too. So yeah, today we're gonna be budgeting for May. I sat down this weekend and put together a game plan for May, just so we can kind of see how things are going to look. And honestly, it's not going to be that eventful. The biggest thing is there are, I think, 5 Mondays in the month, so our grocery budget is going to be absolutely outrageous, but that is what it is. Not really much you can do about that when you have, you know, a family that you need to feed. So I always like to put my income first, and then I'll lay down my expenses. And I, like I mentioned before, do variable expenses and fixed expenses. So I'm going to have those broken out here as well. Okay, and then I wanted to pull some of this really pretty wood washi just to kind of break up my page a little bit. Okay, so in terms of income, if you guys are not familiar with our situation, I feel like most of you guys are probably return viewers. I do have an Etsy shop. That's my full-time job, and that's where all of our income comes from. We are fortunate enough that obviously it, you know, is enough to support our family. And then I always put an other category, but we rarely have anything there. My husband Jason is currently a stay-at-home dad with our youngest because our oldest is in kindergarten, so she's not really at home during the day. So I'm just gonna put in Sara, Marie, and then other. And like I mentioned, we don't budget anything for other. We don't really think that anything other is coming in this month. It's just kind of a placeholder just in case. Okay, so next we're going to go into variable expenses. I'm going to fill in the amounts, kind of talk about them as I'm going, and then I will fill in each expense and then fill in the amount. So we have some expenses here related to our house, so utilities and things like that. We have electric. Then we have gas that heats our home and that we use for cooking. We also have cable and internet, and I'm including this in here, although I'm guessing that our cable will be canceled this month. I just don't know in terms of timing exactly how that's gonna work, so I just wanted to have a place for it just in case. Then we have groceries. And eating out. Then we have household. We like to separate this out because we tend to do our shopping separately for those items. So we'll get groceries, and then either me or Jason will get like household items at Costco or Target. And then we have gas for our cars. Then we have our cash dividers. So For mine and Jason's allowance, we do cash dividers, as well as for haircuts. It just makes it easier to be able to tip that way. And then we have aftercare. So Macy is in kindergarten, like I mentioned, and for her kindergarten, it's only half day. So we do put her in something called aftercare, which allows her to be kind of at school full day. And then we have our sinking funds. So in my mind, sinking funds, I know a lot of people think of them as savings. I think of them as, you know, once the money is in that account, it's already spent, because I know at some point all of that money is going to be spent. So for me, savings is more like, okay, I'm putting money away and I don't really have any set purpose. I don't think anything's coming for it. But sinking funds, like, you know, I know I'm gonna have to buy clothes for the girls. That's a no-brainer. I know that our car insurance is coming due. Like, all that money is allocated to something else. It's just sitting there until the time comes. But I do put our sinking funds in variable expenses because every month they kind of vary a little bit. But yeah, that's anyway the way that I do it. So then the last thing that we have is unbudgeted. So again, kind of like the other category, I put that there just as a placeholder. Hopefully we have nothing that's unbudgeted, but if we do, I want to have a place where I can put the actual amount. So I'm gonna put in our total line there, and then we can draw in the line and we can talk about the amounts that we're putting in. Okay, so for electric, we're gonna do $100. We're kind of at that point in the year where it switches, where our electric bill is gonna start getting higher than our gas bill. So we're gonna do $100 there. I think that should be pretty good. And then gas, we're gonna do $75. Next is going to be cable and internet, and we're going to do $218. I mentioned in my last weekly check-in that has gone up by like $15. So again, I'm putting it as a placeholder, but hopefully that's a lot less. Groceries, we're gonna do $1,000, and that is because we do $200 per Monday, and there are 5 Mondays in the month, so just a lot of money for food. Eating out is gonna be $300. This is pretty standard. I don't really base it off of anything. It just seems to be a good amount for us. Household, I'm going to do $100, and I think that should be plenty. Gas for our cars, we're gonna do $200. Cash dividers are going to be $280. That is $100 for me, $100 for Jason, $20 potentially for Macy for doing chores and things like that, $20 for Jason's haircut, and then $40 for like my eyebrows and stuff like that. Aftercare is going to be $500, and this actually includes the remainder of the year. So I think she has a little bit of school in June, and so I just went ahead and paid it all. So we're all done with aftercare as of May. And then sinking funds, we're putting in $1,645. And then for unbudgeted, that is always $0. So that brings us to a total for variable expenses of $4,418. So pretty simple there, not anything too crazy. Next, we're going to do our fixed expenses. So these are amounts that rarely change month to month. First, we have our mortgage. Then we have Netflix. We have Amazon Prime. We have my life insurance. We have the girls' 529 plans. We have retirement. And speaking of the 529s, we started those, I think, back in 2020, like the summer of 2020, and we already have a really decent amount in there just from putting $400 a month away. So I'm honestly, I feel like that's just kind of how it goes with investments and stuff like that. It's like you put a little bit away and then eventually it turns into be a big amount. But it's crazy when I looked at the recent statement, I'm like, wow, we already have this amount saved for the girls. Like, that's amazing. And we have a while, you know, we have a long time. So hopefully we can keep increasing that as we go. But yeah, anyway, just kind of fun to share that. Next we have our cell phones. And then we have my orthodontist. Then we have Orange Theory, which is where I work out. That's my gym. I love Orange Theory. Then we have Macy's Summer Camp. And my lashes. This is turned into a fixed expense because I do sign up ahead of time and then I can just pay online, so it makes it pretty easy there. I mentioned this before, but my variable expenses and fixed expenses are starting to equal each other in terms of quantity, so it's pretty crazy how like now it's very even. Okay, so our mortgage is going to be $1,671.86. Netflix is going to be $19.99. Amazon Prime is $14.99. My life insurance is $42.55. Like I mentioned, we put $400 away for the girls' 529s. We put $1,500 into retirement. Cell phones are $80. My orthodontist is $195. Orange Theory is $169. And same with Macy's Camp, that is $169. And my lashes are going to be $100 this month. And the reason why it's a little bit more is because my lash lady was saying that she thinks that she can just get more volume and stuff like that if I go for a 70-minute or 75-minute instead of the 60. So we're going to try it out. It may go back to being like $80 instead. So that brings us to a total spent in terms of fixed expenses of $4,362.39. And we are currently still saving in the hopes that like eventually we would get a new house. We've just been doing this for years now. We just put all the extra money into our savings account. So that's kind of the way that I structure our budget is I will take a look at past income. I kind of have a good idea of how much to expect in terms of what my shop will bring in, and then I have all of my expenses, and whatever's left over after we, you know, pay for all of this is what we save for the month, and that just goes into our savings account. So that's my budget for the month, and then I'm going to go ahead and put together my weekly check-in page over here. I feel like the budget is really important to put together, but my weekly check-in is almost just as important because without the weekly check-in, I feel like I would have no idea where I am for the month. So I really think that if you have a budget and you're taking the time to make it, that you should also take the time to just check in and see how you're doing. It doesn't have to be like this, just do whatever works for you, but I think it's really important to check in. So we always have 5 categories. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably have my strips ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Week 4 is always kind of a weird week, so I think it's okay if we have less space down there. What I mean by weird is, you know, you already kind of have an idea of where you're at. So usually I don't need to have like a full weekly check-in, but I think I'll still have space to do it if I need to. Okay, so I'm going to draw my lines in. And then we can move on to sinking funds. I have not closed out my sinking funds for the month yet. I feel like the new month started on a Sunday, so it was kind of awkward. But regardless, we'll go ahead and put together the sinking funds just so that those are all ready to go. I always feel so much better once this process is over with, so that I can just, you know, start filling in the expenses that we have. Jason's gonna go grocery shopping today, so I wanted to have like everything ready to go. Let me know if you guys are like me. I feel like things don't feel like it doesn't feel like a new month until my budget is set and my plan with me for the month is done. I know that might be weird, but I'm telling you, it just doesn't feel like it's a new month until those things are done. Okay. So sinking funds are down. Let me switch over I always print out my rough draft budgets. You guys have probably seen those in my Etsy shop. But I always print those out and have those so that I can put together my plan. And this time it's on blue paper because I ran out of normal paper, which you probably already know about if you watched my day in the life, but yeah. So I'm gonna start the same way. I'm just gonna write in my categories first and then I'll put in what we're adding. So we have a beauty category. This is for like makeup, foundation, like face wash, things like that. Then we have a bunch of car categories. We have our car insurance. We have car maintenance. And car tags. Then we have chapbooks, which actually we got a chapbook recently because I forgot to go through the pictures and it printed one of my like phone background pictures, which is hilarious. So anyway, I still have that on my ongoing to-do list. Then we have Christmas and gifts. And then we have clothes for all of the family. So I like to break it out by person. So we have clothes for Jason, clothes for the girls, and clothes for me. Then we have Costco. This is just for our annual membership. I know it's only like $60, but I like to just plan things out. Then we have diapers, so this is for Mimi. And then we have entertainment and vacation. Next we have family pictures. And Jason's golf sinking fund, which has gotten some use already. Next we have home maintenance. And medical. This is medical and dental, not just medical, but yeah. Tolls. And trash. And water. So like I mentioned, we do have some of our utilities in our sinking funds just because these are not due every single month. So again, I like to even out our bills as much as possible so that it's not like, okay, here you have like 2 bills that are $100 each, and so that's $200 less that it looks like you're, you know, saving. I just like to try and even it out as much as possible so that it's not something that I have to deal with fluctuations in my budget. So now that we have all those in, I can draw my lines in. We're going to fill in the addition column. That's what we are adding for the month. We do have quite a bit of money in these sinking funds, and we do have quite a bit of sinking funds in general, but just know that if you are starting out and this overwhelms you, I started out with I think 2 sinking funds, and I've built it up as I've gone because I've noticed that having the sinking funds just really, again, evens out your budget, but also it doesn't feel as like hectic with your budget when something comes up and you need it. Like for example, in the past, I would buy my foundation and my makeup, and that's like $100 when you buy it, you know, like all the different steps. And honestly, it lasts you know, probably 3 to 4 months. So it's not something you have to do very often, but $100 is a big deal for some people. And for us, it was a big deal when I needed my foundation, my makeup and stuff. And again, I didn't really need it. I didn't have to do it, but it's something that I liked doing. It helps with the complexion and stuff of my skin. It just stinks to have like $100 coming out. And think about it, if you had the makeup that you had to buy, the makeup and the face wash and stuff, that's $100, and then you get a $100 trash bill, a $100 water bill, all in 1 month. Like, that would just completely feel like, oh man, that's, you know, we didn't save $300. Why is that? And so anyway, hopefully I explained it well enough so that you can understand why I wanted to smooth things out. But yeah, it's not something you have to start with. You don't have to go crazy with sinking funds in the beginning. But that's kind of the reason why I have all of these categories, just so that we can smooth it out a little bit. Okay, so for beauty, every month we add in $50. That seems like a good amount for what I usually use that money for. Car insurance, we do $175. This is for our 2 cars and then Jason's motorcycle. For car maintenance, we do $75, and again, that's for all 3 of the vehicles that we have. Car tags is $50. Chapbooks, we're doing nothing because we have plenty of money in there. Christmas and gifts, we have been doing $300 a month. We recently upped that, I think, in the beginning of the year because we were doing $250, and with Macy's birthday party, we just kind of blew our budget. So $300 should be good. Clothes for Jason is always $50. This kid does not need clothes. He has so many clothes as it is, and he has a lot of money in that fund. The girls get $100, and this again is for shoes, bathing suits, shorts, everything related to things that they may need. And then I also get $100. I think girls just care more about clothes than guys do. And then also with like me working out and with me, like, you know, having a normal wardrobe, I feel like I need 2 basically, because I'm in workout clothes most of the time, but then I also need to have like nicer stuff too. So anyway, $100 there. Costco is always $5. Diapers, we're going to do $50. Entertainment and vacation, we're going to do $250, and that's mostly just to cover what we were under last month. Family pictures, we're going to do $25, and I'm hoping in the summertime we can do some family pictures. Golf is always $25. Home maintenance, we do $250. We used pretty much all of our money. I think we used all of our money for sure for home maintenance last month with the new garage door, so definitely need to replenish that. Medical, I'm gonna do $50. I think me and Macy have some dental appointments coming up, so we'll probably have something to pay there. Tolls, we're gonna do $20. Trash is always $20. And then water, I'm gonna do $50. So that brings us to a total of $1,645. So those are all of our sinking funds and what we're adding. Like I mentioned before, off camera I will go ahead and put in the beginning balances. I have to close out my sinking funds first for April so I can do that. So I'll do that off camera probably after I do my results video tomorrow. And then I wanted to put together my transaction log so that if anything comes up that we spend money on from our sinking funds, we already have these ready to go. Usually 1 page is plenty, but the nice thing about this planner is that there are more pages behind this page. So if like I was saying, if I need more space, I have plenty of space in these planners. Okay, so that is our transaction log and sinking fund. So this is kind of the way that it looks. I have my monthly view here where I can track expenses, and then these 2 pages I usually leave blank. Then I have my weekly check-in, my budget, transaction log, sinking fund. These 2 pages will be my business budget, so I will do that again off camera. And then I always have 2 extra pages, which is useful when I need extra like transaction logs, or if we have anything random going on that I want to keep track of. For example, if we go on a trip, I'll keep track of like each individual transaction that way. So yeah, anyway, that is my budget setup for May. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little bit about it. Let me know if you guys have any changes to your budget for May, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.